Hi everyone, my name is Kevin Jonathan. I'm a National Business Management student from Petra Christian University. Today, I would like to assess myself and share to you about my future plans. In this video, I would like to use Action Learning Framework developed by Professor Dr. Casey Chan. Action Learning consists of what, why, how, who, when, where, and how much. So, let's get started into it. Now, let's start with what. In this section, I will explain about who am I, and there are 5 big tests that will help me to answer my question. Those 5 tests actually fall into 3 big categories, which are individual, team, and organization. The first category is about individual skills. It talks about personality, internal skills, and capabilities. The second category is about team roles. It talks about how well you work with others. And the last category is about organization skill. It talks about the capabilities to lead an organization. So, let's start with the individual skills. The first test is the learning style test. The learning style is divided into 4 big categories, which are reflector, activist, pragmatist, and theorist. I myself fall into pragmatist. I like practical ideas in order to make those practical ideas become a solution. Also, I'm a reflector and a theorist. Reflector means that I like to observe the experiences from different perspectives, while theorist means that I like to follow the existing theory. But for sure, I'm not an activist. Now, moving on to the second test. The second test is enterprising tendency test. Enterprising tendency talks about enterprising person who shares entrepreneurial characteristics, motivate others, and innovative. In the enterprising tendency, there are 5 attributes. I myself fall into the need for achievement, calculated risk-taking, and locus of control. A need for achievement implies that I'm highly motivated to achieve my dream. Calculated risk-taking implies that I'm an opportunistic and I will seek information in order to evaluate the opportunity that involves some risk. Locus of control implies that I'm confident that I will be able to determine my life in the future, but I still lack on 2 attributes. Now, moving on to the third test. The third test is the Big 5 personality test. The Big 5 personality talks about the personality from these 5 big categories. So first of all, I'm open to the experience. This implies that I'm a person who focuses more on practical, straightforward, and concrete things. Secondly, I'm conscientious. It implies that I'm able to exercise my self-discipline and control it in order to pursue my goals. Thirdly, I'm an extrovert. It implies that I have a desire to earn as much friendship as I could in order to help my future goals. Fourthly, I'm agreeable. It implies that I'm a self-centered person. Instead, I will put others' business first and I will seek ways to cooperate with my team rather than having a dispute among each other. Lastly, I'm less neurotic. It implies that I'm resistant and I will be able to put aside my emotions. The second category is about team roles. It talks about how well you work with others. In the Belbin-Stein team roles, there are 9 attributes. So, according to the model, I'm a shaper, team worker, and implementer. As a shaper, I will try to ensure that my team keeps on moving and does not lose on focus or momentum. As a team worker, I will be cooperative in helping each other to identify the work required as well as to get the job done. And finally, as an implementer, I am actually reliable and efficient, in which will help me throughout the process in order to keep the result as efficient as possible. And the last category is about organization skill. It talks about capabilities to lead an organization. In the leadership self-assessment, there are 9 attributes. So, according to the model, I'm a negotiator, people aligner, and team leader. As a negotiator, I will be able to negotiate to other people along the process of working in order to have a better or best result. As a people aligner, I will be able to recruit people to make a team, and I will also be able to build a chemistry among the members in a team. As a team leader, I will be able to manage my team and to lead my team in order to have the best result. However, I still need to work on the other attributes in order to deliver the best leadership for my colleagues. So, this concludes my leadership self-assessment test. Now, let's move on to the why. Knowing myself will not be enough. Therefore, I will ask myself not only 1 time, but 5 times. The first question is, why do I need to do self-assessment tests? Because by doing self-assessment tests, I will have a chance to know my strengths and weaknesses. The next question is, why do I need to know my strengths and weaknesses? Because knowing my strengths and weaknesses, it will help me to know what type of work that suits the best for me. The third question is, why do I need to know what type of work? Because by knowing my type of work, it will help me to know what I'm capable of and what work that I love the most. Fourth question is, why do I need to know my capability and the work that I love? Because by knowing my own capabilities and the work that I love, I will be able to become persistent and a quick learner in pursuing my dreams. And the last question is, why do I need to be persistent and a quick learner? Because by being persistent and quick learner, I will be able to survive and develop myself from individual into master change agent. So that's all about my 5 whys. Now, moving on to the how. After knowing and asking myself, I need to know how should I improve myself. Therefore, I'm going to answer this question by using the input, process, and output framework. So let's start with the input. In the input section, my input will be my individual, team, and organization skill test, which I have shown to you guys before. Then, with all my input, in the process section, I will need to have a management skill, leadership skill, and entrepreneurship skill at the same time. By having management and leadership, I can have expert power, which means I can be an expert within an industry or a function. By having leadership and entrepreneurship, I can have communicating power, which means I can communicate ideas to all people in my workplace. By having entrepreneurship and management, I can be adaptive. I can have adaptive power, which means I will be able to adapt into a cultural difference. Moreover, I have to be balanced in all these attributes in order to create a balanced values, in which, if I combine all of them, it will create a stamina power. Stamina power means that I will be able to survive and to develop myself. Throughout the inputs and the process that I have, it will produce output, which is my vision, mission, and values. So my vision here is to be a successful businessman in the expedition sector. Then in order to achieve my vision, therefore my mission will be the owner and the manager of my own expedition business. However, having a dream of running my own company is not enough. I will need a fundamental values that will guide myself along the way to achieve my future plans. Those values that I have to carry are integrity, passionate, persistent, and hardworking. By having these values, I believe that I will be able to achieve my vision and mission. After knowing my input, process, and output, I will still to know where I am right now. So currently, I'm in the level of conscious incompetence where I realize that I'm incompetent. Therefore, with my plan, I will try to move myself from conscious incompetence into mastery by having CFA and PhD in order to be a business author. So that's all about how should I improve myself. Now moving on to the who. After knowing more about how should I improve myself, in this section I'm going to explain who should I become. In order to answer this question, I would like to use this diagram. In this diagram, there are 3 circles which consist of management, leadership, and entrepreneurship. In each intersection between 2 circles will create value. The intersection between leadership and vision will integrate our holistic value. The intersection between leadership and entrepreneurship will create implement our system value. And the intersection between management and entrepreneurship will create innovate our critical value. However, having only the intersection between 2 circles will not be enough. Therefore, it is very important to have all 3 circles, or master all these 3 circles in order to improve continuously, or we can say natural value. So that's all about who should I become. Now, moving on to the when. In this section, I'm going to explain the targeted goals that I have to achieve. I will project my goal not only for 1 or 3 years, but I will project it until 10 years. So in the first years, after I graduate as an international business management student from Pakistan University, I will work in the big company related to my future business in Indonesia. Then, in the 3rd year, I will have a plan to improve myself from a local worker into an international worker under the same company. Moreover, I also want to study other languages related to my future business such as Chinese. After that, in the 5th year, I will have a plan to open my own business and start building my own business. Lastly, in the 10th year, I will have a plan to expand my own business from local business into an international business so that I will be able to grab bigger market. So that's all about my when or the timeline of my future plans. After knowing the timeline of my future plans, in this section I will need to know where went right and where went wrong. To answer this question, I will use input process output and control diagram. So in order to know where went right and where went wrong, I will have to see at my output or the actual event, which is my vision, mission and values. At the same time, I will also have to see at my input or my plans, which is my personal self-assessment test. By knowing my output and my input, I need to have a right process in order to execute it well. Moreover, I also still need to monitor and control everything. If the actual thing happened directly from what I have planned before, or the variance between the actual and plan is right, then I have to trace it back from my input, process, and output, and then start to fix what is wrong on those three attributes in order to get back on track based on what I've did before. So that's all about my where went right and where went wrong. After knowing when went right and when went wrong, I need to know how much should I improve myself. And in order to answer the question, I will use these building blocks. So there are 6 components in the building blocks, which consist of intelligence, personality traits and preferences, values, interests, motives or goals, knowledge, experience, and skills or competencies. Now, as you guys can see in the first layer, the intelligence, personality traits and preferences, and values, interests, motives, or goals are things that are hard or difficult to change because it is the internal values that are already attached to myself since I was born. Therefore, to know how much should I improve, I will have to work on my knowledge, experience, and skills or competencies because these external values are things that are easier to be changed. I will be able to change these external values through studying and working. Therefore, they will create an experience that will make myself become better. So that's all about how much should I improve. So, I've already assessed myself and shared to you my future plans through Action Learning Framework. I hope you enjoy and learn something from me. Thank you for watching.